Look at this. That bar in front of the kayak ramp is 8 inches deep now. We'll be walking out there soon. Man, look at shallow. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Did I miss him? I missed him. Oh, I got him. Little bitty baby. Thanks, buddy. Nice fish. Ay, got me twice. Got me with the hook and his fin. Boy, I'm running through some crawls today.
They have prominent brow curls above each eye, short faces, forward jutting faces, broad
brand new bait too.
no chin at all. Their jaws are thick and strong, probably because they regularly use their teeth as a vice or a grip like a third hand. Unlike our friend from Jebel Ali, whom we met in last week's episode, we probably would stop and look twice at a Neanderthal and pass one on the streets. But different isn't lesser or worse. Their brains were about the same size, occasionally bigger than the modern human average. Brain size is often used as a proxy marker for intelligence and behavioral complexity when it comes to archaic humans. The larger the brain, the smarter we assume they were. In the case of Neanderthals, there's pretty dang good evidence that they were smart. A variety of sites across Europe suggest that Neanderthals used advanced and varied hunting strategies. I mentioned ambush hunting a moment ago, and that's pretty unequivocal. In other cases, the evidence isn't as easy to interpret, but they probably drove entire herds of animals over a cliff, using the fall to kill them and then butchering the remains until now, this is an incredibly sophisticated behavior. If the Neanderthals did this in the way that more recently Americans did, for example, it would require a ton of forward planning to pick out a group for the herd and discuss the strategy. Once underway, it would require the coordination of multiple groups of hunters. Some of them would have set small fires to drive the animals in a particular direction. Others would have found advantageous spots to cut out and threaten the birds to be moved. So this interpretation suggests a serious cognitive capacity. The Neanderthals' stone tools reinforce this understanding of savvy, intelligent hunters and survivors. Their stone tool technology was a
Oh, we may not make it. Damn, it's thin. Let it run. It's thin.
The characteristic tool of the
Unless I want to get out and walk.
big old teardropper oval-shaped stone with flakes repeatedly chipped off both sides to create a sharp cutting edge. Hand axes were incredibly useful. You and your buddies could put your hands just in a matter of minutes. Plus, they were also heavy. You weren't carrying fancy camping and travel. There's pretty good reason to think the archaic humans made the hand axe. On top of that, hand axes weren't good for after the northwestern suburb of Paris where the tools were first found. Instead of making a folded conventional hand axe, the Levallois technique was used to create flakes. But these weren't the same sharp shards of stone that were instantly used in wood. These flakes were precisely modulated and crafted, paired with a great deal of forethought for specific purposes. The toolmakers took an appropriate piece of stone, only one side.
Go heavy Hobie. I'm gonna pee. GoPro, stop recording. Calm down. Don't jerk the fish out of the water. It's all right. Might hit 16. About 16. See you later, bud. Thank you. Mr. Greenie is my friend.
Archaeologists have extensively excavated Denisova Cave. Layer after layer of sediments shows tens of thousands of years of occupation, going back at least 125,000 years, potentially as much as 180,000 years, running all the way up to Dennis and his successors. The way to understand a site like Denisova Cave is through incredibly painstaking excavation. Each layer of sediment, which corresponds to a different period of occupation, has to be carefully dug out. Archaeologists found everything from animal bones and tools to jewelry there. Beyond the prominent and highly visible objects, excavators sift the soil to be sure they're getting even the tiniest things. At the microscopic scale, you can even find grains of pollen, which tell you what the environment was like deep in the past. But along with grains of pollen, researchers find little fragments of stuff like rock, antler, and bone. Most of those pieces are too broken, too worn down, or just too small to be identifiable as anything in particular. There's no way of telling whether that tiny little piece belonged to a Neanderthal or a modern human or a deer or a lion. But sometimes the process of sifting and painstakingly categorizing each little piece shows you something you weren't expecting, like a tiny fragment of identifiably human finger bone. It's not clear exactly how old the finger bone is. The layer of the cave it came from was all mixed up. Some material that's more than 50,000 years old, other pieces that are less than 30,000. It's certain that the bone, which comes from the fifth distal phalanx, the pinky finger, belonged to an adolescent, whose growth plates hadn't yet fused. Maybe it belonged to a modern human. Maybe it belonged to a Neanderthal. Artifacts typical of both species have been found in the cave. To learn more, the excavators sent this tiny little finger bone to a team led by the geneticist Svante Pabo in Germany. Pabo and his associates are some of the finest ancient DNA researchers in the world. They're the pioneers who sequenced the Neanderthal genome, so it's a natural choice. And because of the cool, dry conditions of Denisova, there's a good chance the little piece of pinky bone might still contain DNA. So far, so good. The researchers did manage to extract DNA from the pinky bone. But it didn't come from a modern human. It didn't belong to a Neanderthal either. Instead, this little piece of bone, so small it easily could have been missed, was a representative of an entirely new species. The adolescent girl who lived so long ago was a Denisovan, a member of an entirely new human lineage discovered, for the first time, solely through the marvels of ancient DNA. Discovering a whole new shoot off the family tree is exciting enough, but that wasn't the end of the surprises coming from Denisova. As it turned out, the species to whom the girl belonged, the Denisovan, interbred with the ancestors of some still existing present-day people. Melanesians, Papuans, and Aboriginal Australians all carry a high proportion of Denisovan genes. They're not the only ones. Further analysis of bones from Denisova Cave revealed still other interbreeding events with the ancestors of modern people, some of which have proven remarkably useful. The high altitude adaptations in modern Tibetans that allowed them to effectively live more than 10,000 feet above sea level, well, those came from a Denisovan group. So, who were these mysterious Denisovans? Why haven't we found them before? How is it even possible for there to be a whole species that we know nothing about? Let's start with the who piece. The analysis of the Denisovan girl's genome suggests that her species formed a related but separate branch of the family tree, compared to anatomically modern humans and Neanderthals. She shared more ancestry with Neanderthals than modern humans. Those populations must have split off from each other later than they had split off from most of the ancestors of modern humans. It's hard to tell exactly what they look like, since we have only a few fossils that are identifiably Denisovan at this point, but they were probably noticeably different both from us and from Neanderthals. Their teeth were extremely large, they were robustly built. That's about all we can say about their appearance for now.
GoPro, start recording.
Not one, but several different groups, which interbred with the ancestors of the present
Another 15, 16. Oh, there went my bait.
There are small, trace amounts of Denisovan ancestry in people who live in mainland East Asia.
Alright.
These segments of ancestry came from a different interbreeding event
I
than the
got
one
you.
that
Oh,
the
I got
ancestors
you.
of today's inhabitants of Australia and the Pacific Islands experienced.
Well, maybe 15 and a half or
That there
3/4.
were at least a few populations of Denisovans, potentially who were quite different from one another, down to largest bodies was practically non-existent. So instead, the grasses included grasses of all types and kinds across huge swaths of the planet. There were massive savannas in Africa that make today's Serengeti look tiny.
About 14 and a half.
Were much lower, exposing enormous
Got another tiny one.
all around. Grasses like millet, hackberries growing wild, roots dug out from below.
Sure would like a bigger one.
Small animals.
Boat flip. Perfect hook set. About 15 and a quarter. My bait. I'm watching my bait sink. Little fish all day long.